What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Saturday. Another morning show, up bright, early, bushy-tailed, talking all things Manchester United, transfers, discussions, tours just beginning, of course. We're going to be talking about that. Absences from tour as well, one being Cristiano Ronaldo, his future. We're going to be talking about Frankie de Jong and his Barcelona future, possible Manchester United future. The spider's web that is Barcelona's financial problems as well. Oh, we've got so much to talk about when it comes to all of that too. We're going to be talking about Lasandra Martinez. Is his move edging closer or further away from Manchester United? We'll talk about that. And Brian Brobby. Yes, I'm shocked that it's going to be a transfer window where we're talking about Brian Brobby, but we are going to talk about him today. Joined today, though, by Marcel. Marcel, how you doing, mate?
Good, thank you. Morning show, man. Excited to be on one of these.
Exactly.
Nice and early. Just excited about everything to do with Manchester United right now. Obviously, the new kit launch, new kit, seeing all the pictures, all the stuff for that as well. Everything's just exciting time right now around our club.
Did you enjoy the kit launch yesterday? What did you make of it? What do you think of the kit this season?
Yeah, no, nice, very nice. I like the stuff with Cantona in it as well.
That was good. Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to get the shirt this season. This was one of the better ones. I think the season before that as well, with the black logo, with the black Man United logo and the red shirt, was another kit that I like.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, with the badge. So this kit's really nice. I like this one.
I did like the Cantona stuff. It must be said there was a picture of Cantona and he's holding up a chess piece. I don't know if you saw that. He's got this jacket on. He's holding up a chess piece, and I just thought, that goes hard. That picture. That is a good picture. I enjoyed that one immensely. But big up to everyone in the chat. As always, be sure to smash a like on the like button. As Flex always says, just get it out of the way first. The aim is 500 likes. If there's nearly already 500 people watching. If everyone clicks like now, we don't even have to talk about it. Again, it's done. Exactly. It's done. You always have to do your chores before you do whatever you're going to do in the evening, right? So smash a like on the like button. You can also join the UV Members Club as well. The link is in the description box below, and it's the pinned comment in the live chat as well. You can get your badges, you can get your emojis, you can get your Flex and KG emojis, which are very fun as well. You can also get your exclusive members-only videos. We were talking about this the other day. We've got some big ones lined up, possibly. KG actually spoke to me last night about an idea he has for one, which is quite interesting. That involves rock bands, and he's confident that he knows a lot of them because he knows who Meatloaf is. And I went, I don't think it works like that. KG. I went, it really doesn't work like that. But we've done some fun ones recently. We did a Q&A. We also did Guess Who with Star Wars with Flex, which was, again, I still say it's one of my favorite things I've ever done on this channel. It was so, honestly, that's worth the membership alone. It's fantastic. It wouldn't be a morning show without Zayn Miassi as well. Zayn Miassi's in the chat saying, Gabriel Jesus, 2 goals, stunning already, a taste of things to come. Wow, I did see that yesterday, that Arsenal had their first preseason game. I think they're in Germany, and I think they played Nuremberg. In Germany, I saw Jesus came on, scored 2 goals. Preseason, and I mean, we'll talk about this, when it comes to the preseason games, but there's so many ways to look into them. Let's be honest, whether you win them or lose them. Exactly. That's not to say there won't be meltdowns, because there will, but we'll talk about that when the matches happen. Anyway, let's start off talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Where else to start but talking about Cristiano Ronaldo? We've got a lot when it comes to his intentions to leave Manchester United this summer, Ten Hag, and his sort of surprise, shall we say, at the situation, and if we're going to be seeing Cristiano Ronaldo on tour at any point over the course of the next couple of weeks. So this comes from The Athletic, specifically Laurie Whitwell and Stu James. They're saying that Erik Ten Hag was entitled to be as confused as anyone about the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, given that he had spoken to Ronaldo earlier on in the summer and had no hint of what to come, which is certainly interesting. It continues. Ronaldo, the news, caught United off guard. Calls were made this week to sound out potential replacements. All the while, Manchester United continued to insist publicly that Ronaldo was not for sale. But privately, many doubt that that is indeed the case. Now, there's been a lot of discussion as to, is Ronaldo going to be on the tour? Is he going to be... Probably not going to be in Bangkok, but is he going to be in Australia at any point? Whether Ronaldo joins up with Man United for the Australia leg of the preseason tour is currently unclear. But the idea, and this just shows how much has changed in the past week or so, the idea that Ronaldo would not fly on tour had been almost unthinkable a week ago, last Sunday. But 24 hours later, it seemed quite plausible. United, quite simply, had no idea when Ronaldo will or would return in the future. So, Marcel, what do you think about that when it comes to Ten Hag having a conversation previously with Cristiano Ronaldo as to, I guess, what he had planned for the future or his plans for the upcoming season, and seemingly everything being okay, and now being quite surprised about these developments in the last week or so?
Yeah, well, the narrative, Owen, to be honest with you, changed quite rapidly. I mean, at the beginning and in the media anyway, Ten Hag had kind of said to us that he's here for goals, and he's part of the plans. He's going to be part of the team. So I think he, like you're saying, he must have had conversations with him, convincing him to stay, and even stuff from at the end of the season, I'd been hearing Ronaldo staying. There was stuff coming out from the club with Ronaldo saying he's going to stay. So, but very quickly, it's got to a situation now where we either going to have him on the tour or he needs to leave before the tour really starts commencing. In terms of Ten Hag's involvement with that, he would have been as shocked as anyone. So, a bit of a selfish kind of decision from Ronaldo in terms of his own ambition and goals. But, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone could have really believed he was going to stay after we're not really in the Champions League. So a bit of a shock to everyone, and the timing's not right as well, I think, Owen. It's not the best timing, but I give him the benefit of doubt considering the circumstances that we're led to believe at the moment. And he's played under duress, losing a family member before throughout the season, injuries and that sort of thing. So give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just bad timing, and I think it might bode better for the team if he leaves, if I'm honest.
I think you always have to separate it, don't you? I think you have to separate, like you said, clearly there is a family issue at the moment. I think Rio Ferdinand has alluded to this, and I'm not sure you can doubt his professionalism as to showing up to training.
Yeah.
Anything like that. I think, people that have been doing that, I think have been overstepping the mark. And as we've said several times over the course of the last couple of weeks, when it comes to family matters, you do have to back off. But his desire to leave is kind of separate, or largely separate to the family issues going on at the moment. And if Erik ten Hag had a conversation with Cristiano Ronaldo prior to everyone going off on their holidays, and Ronaldo had given no inkling at the time that he wanted to leave, or even if he was considering it, if Ronaldo said in this meeting or this conversation with Ten Hag, look, I'll be honest, if I don't see something in the next 6 weeks, or if I don't see something in the next couple of months, I really want to be out of here. Then when Ronaldo does turn around and say, look, I want to leave, then you would hold your hands up and go, well, fair play. You did tell me that before. I guess it's the idea that Ten Hag would be somewhat blindsided by this is a bit of an issue. But on the flip side, the devil's advocate would say, well, a lot of people said that they thought Ronaldo would probably leave after we didn't qualify for the Champions League as well. So it is somewhat of a complicated situation. I mean, I do want to touch on this too from The Athletic, from this same report. They've said that Ten Hag learned about Ronaldo's desire to leave via another party rather than directly from Ronaldo himself. Irrespective of that news, Ten Hag did still anticipate that Ronaldo would return for preseason training on Monday. Of course, we know that didn't happen because of the family issues. But the key thing there, I suppose, is that Ten Hag actually learning that Ronaldo wanted to leave Manchester United hasn't actually been directly from Ronaldo himself. So I posed this question to Flex yesterday. It'd be interesting to know what you think. Do you think that if Ten Hag is able to have another face-to-face sit-down conversation with Ronaldo, do you think there's any change in Ronaldo's desire to leave, or do you think that's set in stone at this point?
A combination of things, let's see what George Mendes comes back to him and offers him. If he's got offers on the table that, options for him that he prefers, Champions League, that kind of thing. Ten Hag might have the pull, he's been bringing talent from, his domestic league so far. But Ronaldo is his own entity, he's his own brand. So if he wants to go elsewhere, let him go. I think it will benefit the team. I don't think Ten Hag will be able to maybe convince him otherwise. If his mindset on going, then I think he goes. But at the same time, I think, Manchester United's stance and the board or the powers that be would have been maybe convincing Ten Hag, listen, we want him to stay. And we're adamant that he will stay. So we're going to be doing our utmost maybe to make him adhere to his contract. So a combination of things, to be honest with you, Owen, but I don't think Ten Hag has the pull like that in terms of Cristiano Ronaldo for sure. If he wants to kick a fuss, and I think he will get his move. But it would be very interesting if Ten Hag, actually wants the player. If he sees a future in having him around.
I think he does, though. I think he does. I mean, he said it. He said that he has a couple of times. But I suppose the key thing would be, does he want the player if the player doesn't want to be here? I think that's the key element of it, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think the answer to that would most probably be no. He would maybe utilize the rest of the players on the squad, or go into the market. I got a question to you then. If Ronaldo goes, who do we replace him with? Or who does Ten Hag look at to replace him with? I mean, there's the likes of Dybala, there's the likes of Neymar, João Felix, Serge Gnabry, who there's options still there that you can maybe replace for and are versatile forwards. So who would you pick?
It's interesting. We were talking about this before we went live, actually, isn't it? The issue one is that whoever does replace Ronaldo, and there will be a replacement, whether it's going to be in this window or the next, we don't know. Yeah. But whoever does replace Ronaldo is always going to be stuck with that. Well, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo. And let's face it, anyone's a downgrade. Everyone is a downgrade.
It guarantees you 20 goals, a season. So.
Exactly. So, and there's been talks about Brian Brobby. We're going to talk about that later on. And you can just imagine, can't you, of them going, oh, what a window by United. Get rid of Ronaldo, bring in Brobby. Yeah. It's like when Fergie wanted Karim Benzema, got Michael Owen. Or that kind of situation, right? It would be like that. That would be the issue. I mean, Flex was talking about it the other day, saying that maybe there isn't a striker, maybe there isn't a replacement, and maybe we just have to go through suffering of a season of like, well, Martial and Rashford are our strikers. Now, to me, that's a somewhat terrifying thought, because we were light up front last season when we had Ronaldo, when we had Cavani. Imagine losing them and not replacing them both. We're even lighter. Yeah, that is a problem. And you've got two people as your strikers that you can debate whether they're strikers or not. I understand Ten Hag's a great coach, but he's not a miracle worker. You can't. Two really out of form players that have been underperforming for a long time. Putting your hopes on goal scoring for the season on them? Just logically, that seems somewhat ludicrous. So you would have to find a replacement, in my opinion. Whether that replacement is out there or what price that's out there, people can say, "Oh, desperation signings," but we'll be desperate because, as the report said, we didn't see this coming. The club certainly didn't. They thought Ronaldo was going to be staying. I mean, Dybala, I just don't. That concerns me. It really does concern me. I feel like he's being massively shopped around at the moment, especially by all of the Italian outlets. His move to Inter Milan collapsed. I understand that they're saying that, he's not going to be on what he was wanted before. It's going to be 100K a week, blah, blah, blah. But he's got injury records.
Yes.
And it's still, to me, if he was going to, first of all, I don't think he's a striker. He's a 10, or at the very most, he's a shadow striker 10. He plays off a striker.
Tadic role. Tadic.
Yeah. But still, he's not. You're replacing a striker with a different position. And if you're going to then go, okay, false 9 settings, why wouldn't you just put Bruno Fernandes in that position? Then you've already got him. You know. But what do you think about replacements? Do you think there's a replacement out there this summer?
Good point. Neymar is touted, and I'm looking more of marquee signing. So when I'm thinking of replacement, I'm thinking marquee commercial signing, or young hungry footballer. But I think Man United will go down the commercial signing route. So then I'm mentioning the likes of Dembele, who's technically a free agent at the moment now, got issues with Barcelona in terms of contractual issues. I'm looking at Neymar, who's been touted to leave. I'm looking at Dybala. I'm looking at João Felix. Atletico Madrid have obviously got financial fair plays that they need to adhere to. They might want to offload him. And I'm looking at Serge Gnabry, who's got 1 year left on his contract at Bayern Munich. And a potential swap deal can be done there maybe. So I think there is a replacement out there. You could maybe get the likes of a Serge Gnabry and a Dybala, two versatile forwards, and that could maybe, because we need strength and depth, like you said. We can't rely on two out of form players. They've had successful seasons together where they're in a side and they've scored a lot of goals, but not for a whole season. We can't rely on that. So we need maybe 1 or 2 additions, and a free transfer maybe in a Dybala is good business, or a 1 year contract. Serge Gnabry, versatile forward. I think it could be someone that we should be looking at.
But isn't the issue there that none of them are strikers? Like you've named Neymar, you've named Gnabry, you've named Dybala, none of them are still number 9s. We would still be light in that number 9 position. And I'd be remiss to be in a position like, remember Arsenal under Wenger, where they just bought the same player over and over and over again? You would go, why are you buying the same player over and over again? My concern would be that we would still have strikers who you would be debating whether they're strikers. And Neymar, I'm not saying Neymar's rubbish, clearly, but
the saga with him that comes.
I don't want him anywhere near Manchester.
No, I agree.
No
I
way.
agree, but millions of people buy that shirt. They will want that Neymar on the back of the shirt, whatever it is, 7, 10, whatever it's going to be. But what I would say, though, is, Man City and Liverpool have won or have competed at the highest level without an out-and-out 9. Yes, they've both, funny enough, gone that route this season, in Darwin Núñez and Haaland. But, they've both won the leagues without recognised strikers. And Ten Hag has played a false 9 system, with a player that's quite similar to Dybala in Tadic. So I feel like it could be worked in that way. And we've been talking about versatile forwards. I know Anthony is definitely maybe an odds on that we'll get, hopefully, in that right wing position. But even if you lose a Ronaldo, you're going to need someone that can score goals and maybe play in a series of positions, maybe offering Martial and Rashford competition for that 9 spot.
Super chat from Hanson says, usually I watch these shows on my way to work, but currently at the airport on my way to Barcelona for sunshine and good vibes. Big up the United View crew and everybody watching. Have an awesome weekend all. Have an awesome weekend to you too, Hanson, and enjoy Barcelona. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the good vibes, enjoy your holiday. Go there and bring Frankie back with you. Do some negotiations. Do it. We need all the help we can get, Hanson. So go there and do it. But big up, Hanson. Game Fanatic says, can we compare the CR7 situation to Harry Kane last year? What would happen if we forced him to stay? Marcel, that's an interesting one. Is there a situation? Is there a scenario where we just put our foot down and go, no, Ronaldo, you're staying, and we've got an unhappy player, or Ronaldo has to get on with it?
Yeah, no, there definitely is. When I look at the market, who's going to pay these wages that he's been, contractually has to be paid till next season? Now, who's going to pay the wages? So, unless somebody's willing to pay it, I can see a situation where he has to stay. And similar to like the comment, Harry Kane was not around for the first couple of months. It didn't look like he wanted to play for Tottenham. I think Ronaldo's level of professionalism is a lot higher, and Harry Kane's is high, but Ronaldo's maybe higher still. So I think he does go out and perform, for the first few games if he is forced to stay. But, I do think there is a situation, you're right, where he does stay but is unhappy.
Can you do that with Ronaldo, though? Can you do that?
Owen, I genuinely believe nobody's bigger than this club. So if it's the club putting their foot down saying he must stay, then he's signed a contract for this. He should have understood what he was signing. That works hand in hand. You've signed a contract now. So, but I just don't like the sound of, someone that doesn't want to be part of the club leave and not being around, like the likes of Martial, when he was saying he doesn't want to be part of the club, let him go. But if he's going to get his head down, work hard for the manager now, it's time to be on game. And we've got very serious business to be contending with next season. So if you're part of the squad, you need to be here,
Yes, I mean, and also as well, you talk about suitors there. I mean, initially Bayern were linked with him. They said publicly, no, it doesn't fit the profile. Napoli have been rumored, but it feels like now the most serious interest is Chelsea, and they're still deciding as to, is this really the route we want to be going down? Of course, they got a new owner. So the idea really being is that they would want to have a statement signing. Does you think it taints his legacy if he goes to Chelsea?
100%. I would hate to see him in a Chelsea shirt. Is it important that he goes though? I don't think so. I feel like it actually will bode well for the overall squad. There was a clear battle or ruckus in the changing room between himself and Maguire. So I don't want that to be spoiling.
Imagine Maguire winning that though. Imagine that you basically said that Maguire won that battle. That is insane.
Yes, and I think potentially he did. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on it more, but that's how it seems. If Ronaldo's handed in a transfer request, I don't, all avenues point. It looked like he was staying with us next season. So now that he's gone, I'm just like, okay, maybe Maguire's won that battle. Likes on particular images suggesting certain things from Maguire about Ronaldo. Putting the rest of the mud in the coffin. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I think it would be maybe beneficial for us if he goes, but if he stays, he has to be here and committed.
And remember, that like was an accident, folks. Yeah, it was an accident. He definitely didn't mean to do it. It was not. It was complete. It was an accident. Oh yeah, we've all accidentally liked a post that had something very specific to your club and yourself. Oh.
So
as soon as I saw they went, oh, it's an accident. I went, oh. Just don't even come out and say it was an accident. Just unlike it. Just unlike it. Don't pretend it didn't happen. And people go, oh, what about that like? You go, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, like, it's not there anymore. Don't go and say, oh, it was an accident. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, just no, silly. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's talk about Frankie de Jong, because it wouldn't be a transfer show without talking about Frankie de Jong, of course, because that's all we can talk about this transfer window. I want to talk a little bit more about the money that's owed to Frankie de Jong. Barcelona's, I guess, negotiations with the player at this point, and de Jong's possible desire to stay at the club and his relationship with Barcelona. So this comes from Paul Ballas, once again from The Athletic, is expanding on the story that we know already about Barca owing a lot of money to Frankie de Jong. So Barcelona owe Frankie de Jong 17 million euros in deferred salary payments. Now, it's understood that this is one of the reasons for the hold-up in de Jong's potential move to Manchester United. Barcelona will try to make de Jong buy into another pay cut, while the players' camp and de Jong himself are not keen, having already deferred their salary in the past, not once but twice, of course. De Jong does want to stay at Barcelona. Any source close to the 25-year-old does not hesitate to reassure that. However, the relationship is more than strained between the club and the player. Now, there had been some conflicting reports here because, of course, Todd Boehly had that meeting, that hour-long meeting with Barcelona the other day. Largely that was centered around the sales of Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso to Barcelona. But with this rumor of Chelsea possibly being interested in de Jong, people had said, oh, well, was de Jong discussed at that meeting? Now, some outlets, and this is where it gets conflicting, some outlets in Spain, Luis Rojo is saying that Frankie de Jong was not mentioned in this meeting. However, you've also got Jacob Steinberg, who is from The Guardian, saying that Frankie de Jong was discussed in this meeting. And this just goes to show the drama and circus of the transfer window. How are you feeling, Marcel, about Frankie de Jong? Are you still feeling confident that eventually we'll get our guy, but it's just incredibly convoluted and it's going to be a saga that goes on? Or are you one of these people that's saying, look, it's taken too long, we should probably give up?
You know, in the morning, porridge, my coffee, my tea, you know, sage-scented candles, you know, a few stretches, relaxed, completely relaxed, you know, peaceful music on, some Lauryn Hill, relaxed, fully relaxed, not worried. You know, it's gonna take some time, this one, Owen. You know, like you said, like you mentioned, he's owed money, and then to even, you know, more injury to the, or more salt on the wounds, he's asked to even take a pay cut as well. So, you know, he must feel aggrieved. You know, that relationship must be a bit broken down now, I would assume. So I feel like it's just beautiful news to hear for us in terms of, you know, a little bit of a ruckus with a dream job, to be honest with you. He wants to be at that club. You know, he's taken a pay cut just to be at that club. So, you know, Barcelona have lots of, you know, financial issues to deal with right now. And I think, you know,
Absolutely true, point, Ashley. Absolutely true. I had no idea who Marcel was talking about when he said
Lauryn Hill.
Who's that? Shall I Google them?
Yeah.
Carry on. I'll Google. Carry on.
I'll send you some songs, man. I'll send you some songs. But yeah. So you haven't. Okay. Well, I'll send you some songs.
Don't recognize.
No, I'll send you some songs on WhatsApp. But yeah. So just relax, man. But you know, Barcelona have issues. I think Laporta has come and added a bit of, you know, circus, trying to get a bidding war with the likes of Chelsea. But I just don't think de Jong goes to Chelsea. It's Barcelona or his footballing father and Ten Hag. So I'm very confident that, you know, this situation with Barcelona is getting more toxic. It's getting worse. It's more feathers in our cap, you know. And I think this will definitely be a situation that is long, but you know, we'll definitely get him.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the frustrating thing, obviously, is clearly last week we thought we were closer with this once we heard about the broad agreement thing, and clearly we're not as close as we thought we once were. And it is really complicated by this amount that's owed to Frankie de Jong. I do think people confuse this desire to stay with this desire not to go to Manchester United, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think in when they're talking about that, they're basically saying, look, in an ideal world, he would obviously be staying at Barca. That would be the ideal situation for him. But that ideal scenario involves him not having to take another pay cut, getting paid everything he's owed, and also the club not forcing through to sell him. All of those situations aren't happening. And if those things, the three things that are happening happen, like you said, it's basically I want to go to Manchester United because they're the club that I've been speaking to Ten Hag every day. Ten Hag's been convincing me every day, and I trust Ten Hag. Yeah, United are in the mud at the moment, but if I'm feeling pretty low about my footballing situation, I want to go somewhere where I'm feeling comfortable and under someone that I'm feeling comfortable. So I think people misinterpret his desire maybe to stay at Barcelona as to, well, it doesn't mean he doesn't want to come to Manchester United. I don't think they're mutually exclusive, it must be said. And you just think of how complicated this situation is with Frankie at this point. And again, it's not what we want to hear, but when you do like sit back and think about it, when you say this guy is owed like nearly 20 million euros, 20 million euros. And then the nerve of the club to go, yeah, if you want to stay, if you love us that much, you take a pay cut. You go, wait a minute. I've taken a pay cut twice. You owe me loads of money. And also, that would be one thing if you go, okay, I took the pay cut because everyone else did. It's not just me you owe money. You owe a lot of people money, by the way, as well. But then on top of that, you're signing new players. You've got Christensen doing kick-ups in the new camp. You go, wait a minute. You're happy to pay him money, but where's my money? Where you want to be looking after me? And, suddenly, and also as well, you'd almost feel a bit disrespected. You love me so much, but you use me as a cash cow to get rid of and to finance all these other people. You would surely you would feel slighted by that. And again, it's not United's fault. It's not United's fault that they want to buy this player that's got all of this financial baggage surrounding him. But that's why it becomes a complicated negotiating process, because it's a case of, okay, with our transfer fee, it's either we're giving you the money to pay De Jong, or we're taking that money off the deal because you owe this guy so much money. We're not just going to write it off. Or, Barca might say to De Jong, oh, okay, we'll give you, I saw one report saying, we're happy to pay you like 3.5 million and write the rest off. You kidding me? I'm going to write off like 15 million euros. I know I know it's not all about money, but still, that's a lot. That is a lot. Honestly. Especially when you're being kicked out the door. And either you have to come to an agreement in when that does get paid, or if it is going to get paid. Remember Bayern Munich, of course, Barcelona are trying to negotiate for Lewandowski at this point, and Bayern are saying, well, if you do want to buy him, give us that money up front. We don't believe you've even got it. We don't believe you've got it. And can you blame him? I wouldn't blame him if saying, I don't believe you've got the money. Why? Because you owe all of your squad millions of euros. And I know every time I talk about this, there will be a comment or a couple of comments here going, you know nothing about Barca's financial situation. You're not a financial expert. No, I'm not. But it doesn't take a genius to go, they owe a lot of their players. Look how much money they owe. I think it's PK. Like it's astronomical figures. And it's the same with Messi when he left as well. So unfortunately, it is very frustrating for us because this is the person we've centered our transfer plans around this summer, but it's incredibly complicated. And that's very frustrating. But do you have any worries or concerns that at some point Chelsea step in and gazumpus, or are you not concerned about that?
No. Chelsea would. He's only going to Manchester United Football Club if he doesn't. He has a contract, so he can stay at the club and make this as long as, like, if he has a contract, he doesn't have to make any moves at all. So I think this is a thing where we will be, saving his career. I think he'll be made the villain if he stays. I think Laporta will make him the villain. And he doesn't want to take a pay cut, all of this kind of thing. So I think they're trying to force him out, in my opinion. Right now, that's how it looks to me. They have to sell a percentage of their TV rights. Huge nut figures that are being touted, and they're going to need a certain amount of money once. I think it's something to do with the second lever of once they get that initiated and that finance comes in, then they can start utilizing the full amount of money that they receive from transfers. Whereas right now, it's only a certain amount that they can utilize. So it's going to take time for certain things that they have to sort out with their finances. And then they will start, I think, getting rid of some of their biggest assets, one of them being Frankie de Jong. So, no, I'm patient, very patient with this one. I know this will take a bit of time. Not worried at all.
Do you think he gets on the United tour at any point, or is this a closer to the season transfer?
I'm hoping, because it would be at least a month now, I think, maybe even longer. But that it's been touted. A lot of people are saying we agreed a fee.
I mean, when you were in Amsterdam with Flex and KG and everyone, that's when the first report came out of United are interested in Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, so
that was what, like 2 months ago, something like
that. Yeah. So it's been a long one, Owen, but very patient with this one. I think this will get done, and this is going to be what the best bit of business, a good price for him as well. And Man United would have stuck to their guns in the market. Very happy with what they would have done.
And also to continue on the part about possibly de Jong not being keen or anything like that, the report also goes on to say that the closest meeting point for both sides would be to agree to a transfer. Multiple club sources are convinced that a move will happen. So again, that's key to point out that I know a lot of people's immediate comeback to this is he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. And that's true. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but also the club doesn't want to ideally keep him because they need the money, and they owe him a lot of money. And the compromise is we'll go our separate ways. We'll just go then. Pay me the money and we'll just go. And that's what we'll do. You've got a suitable buyer. You've got a club that is obviously very keen in buying him. And that's just the situation when it comes to Frankie de Jong. But unfortunately, in an ideal world, he'd be on tour and we'd be all talking about how excited we are to see him play against Liverpool next week. But that's just unfortunately not the reality that we're in. I want to talk about... Go carry on.
What do you think? Who would be the replacement if there is no Frankie de Jong? So if there's a world where it breaks down, who would you think that would be going the market for? Who's available that you would?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about when you've invested this amount of time. I don't even think. I mean, you're right. There is a reality where for whatever reason it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I just we can't even think like that. I don't think. Our whole window is surrounded around him.
Yes.
And not just the window, how we're going to play. All of our style of play, the way we're going to play, arguably our success next season is surrounded by Frankie de Jong. So we can't. That deal has to happen. It really does have to happen. I mean, I guess to counter that, who do you think plays in the Frankie de Jong role in the preseason games? Because obviously he's not going to be there.
Yeah, James Garner. I really would put him up there for that, or Scott McTominay right now.
McTominay can do that though.
Yeah, or Fred. One of those. I mean, when does Eriksen join the group? And that signing's over the line.
Possibly Australia. Possibly late next week, maybe.
Yeah. So one of those. I would like to see James Garner do it and learn the role, what it requires from. He's younger, a better prospect. But Scott McTominay, I could see him putting him in that role. Played in centre back for Scotland, played in those kind of areas. Not brilliant at the job, but played in those areas where you'd be required to pick the ball up from the defensive line or come and get the ball from the defensive line, be in the midfield areas. So,
Game Fanatic says, I think forcing CR7 to stay is a game of chicken. Man United will tank the finance, but CR7 will look terrible if he sulks and doesn't put in the effort. It's the weird thing because I'm not sure if Ronaldo's ever been in that situation where he's been, held against his will at a club. I mean, it's not bad being held up against your will for like $500K a week. Could think of worse situations. But I do think if he does stay, I think you're right, Massa. I do think he gets on with it. Because ultimately he does still want to win things. He probably won't this season, but he still would want to win games of football. And there's a World Cup coming up in December, so he would still want to be in prime shape for that, one would think. So, but you then have to think of the Ten Hag factor of his first year at the club. Does he want to have this, talisman figure at the club being unhappy and that possibly spreading to a dressing room that already was quite negative last season? But again, that's not to say that Ronaldo would be that negative influence. It's just quite a unique situation for Ronaldo specifically, isn't it?
100% agree with you. I mean, I feel like the professionalism is what will see him conduct himself in the kind of way that we would want. And if he does have any, respect for the club, he would conduct himself in a certain way. Like you said, he has his personal targets in terms of the World Cup year. And I think, we could maybe push for Europa. So there is trophies that I think he could still compete for with us here.
Ronaldo in the Europa, though.
Listen, Roy Keane said that previously. We're looking like a cup team of recent years. So, there's cups to be won.
He wants to break all the Europa League records. I'm going to be record goal scorer in Europa League as well. Oh, God, can you imagine? Let's talk about Lasandra Martinez. There's some new developments on Manchester United, of course. It was reported yesterday that United have put a bid in. It was around, I think it was 50 million euros, 43 million quid, something around that price point. It's been reported by the Mail, Simon James from the Mail's sports section, that Manchester United have made an improved 43 million bid for Lasandra Martinez, but Ajax are yet to accept the offer. Ajax are waiting to see if Arsenal will make a rival bid as they look to stir up an auction between the two Premier League sides. It continues after Arsenal's first offer of 25 million euros. Ajax wanted a little bit more, and Lasandro wanted to go there. But then Eric Ten Hag appeared, called Lasandro and seduced him. This comes from it's from Gaston Edel, which is an Argentinian-based reporter, of course. Martinez being an Argentinian international, I guess close ties to the player. Ajax want to get as much money as possible from the Lasandro Martinez sale. They don't want Lasandro to go, but Lasandro is pushing for that move. Martinez is pushing to leave Ajax as much as he can. He doesn't want his dream of playing in the Premier League to be destroyed. Ajax, though, and this comes from Mike Verwij, of course, very credible journalist in Holland, is saying that Ajax is still saying the departure of Lasandro Martinez is out of the question, even for the current bid of 50 million euros. So Manchester United will have to go even higher if they wish to secure the player, but Martinez is still pushing. So there's quite a lot in there, Marcel, talking about obviously United making that bid, Ajax waiting to see if Arsenal are going to come in, go for a bidding war. I think that's where it stems from, them going, oh, he's not for sale, it's out of the question, to try and get Arsenal to come in a little bit. They know they've got two clubs interested in a player that wants to leave, and ultimately he will leave. Again, though, is the Ten Hag factor the crucial element here that probably makes us favourites in this deal?
Yeah. So, Mourinho, when he started, came into the league, went for, domestic talent, Portuguese talent, and Ten Hag's doing a similar kind of thing with the Dutch talent. And he's gone into where he knows. So, he's gone into his domestic league, and he's seen talent in Martinez, who's Argentine, but he knows the player. I think it's going to be the Ten Hag factor. That is the reason why we get him. But Man United tax is there, hint of Man United tax there. I don't think so. I just think it's just a classic bidding war that they're trying to stir up. But I don't think Arsenal will look to match that price when you see that obviously the man wants to play for Manchester United, in my mind anyway. So it should just be stick to your guns. It's a clever price. You've come in at the right time. If he was too early, they might have asked for an astronomical number like they're doing with Anthony. It's clever business, I think. And if you just stick to your guns, don't raise the price, we should get over the line. Martinez, I think, looks like you were saying, it's clear that he wants to join us, so should be all right.
I think it's quite interesting because we were talking about this the other day, saying that if Martinez does come to Manchester United, do you think because all of these players that Ten Hag signing, you would assume they would be going straight into the first team, right? They're improving the first team. So do you think Martinez becomes maybe United starting centre-back and it's left for Varane, Maguire, Lindelof and the rest to fire out?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So if Ten Hag is really a strong character in his decisions, we might see some things like Maguire not starting games. We really might see our £80 million asset, being on the bench. So, but Martinez can play multiple positions, left back, central defensive mid, centre back. So I think there'll be rotation of positions, and hopefully we can get some of these centre backs off the books. So there's not that many competing for the position. I'm seeing a lot of stuff of Lindelof in all the little clips that I'm seeing and stuff, and Ten Hag speaking to him, making him feel like he's part of the team. So I'm expecting to see Lindelof part of the squad. I really want to see Tuanzebe get an opportunity. Does Eric Bailly still have an opportunity at the club? Very injury prone a lot of the time. Phil Jones, hugely injury prone. So we need to get a lot of these players off the book. So him coming in definitely improves the side. And is there many centre backs that are better than him right now, or better suited to the style of football that we want to play? So it'll be interesting to where he starts.
Yeah, I've said that. I think that he would be United's almost starting centre back purely because Ten Hag will look at his centre backs and he'll say, let's say Varane's the best centre back at the club, right? For all of it, he's achieved his qualities, all that kind of stuff, clearly. But he's going to miss at least a quarter or maybe a third of the season with injury. He just is. That's inevitable. And then he looks at those other two and says, well, I understand people talk about Martinez's height and all that kind of stuff, but when you do watch him, you see clearly this is a centre back or a defender that's very comfortable with the ball at his feet and someone that can take the ball out of defense. And maybe it's just a case of Ten Hag going, I don't have any other defenders that I think are capable of doing that. And because of that, it's key that he's the starter and the rest kind of fight it out. Although an interesting point has been made of saying that, we're not clearly going to get a defensive midfielder this summer. So is this kind of the sort of solution to that issue? Yeah, he's a centre back, but also he can be a defensive midfielder. So maybe we kind of get 2 for 1 in that situation.
Yeah, and we've seen some of his passing qualities as well. So and he's very tenacious and maybe the type of CDM that we want to see in terms of the steal and enforcer type. So it could be a situation that works out for us in the end. Having someone that's got that steal element to them, strong physical presence in there instead of the more ball playing type that we're trying to get in terms of Frankie De Jong. So could be a positive there, definitely.
See, always looking at the positive, Marcel. Always looking at the
100%,
positive.
100%.
You've got to. But I guess the devil's advocate side of this would be, say we do get into a bidding war for Martinez, and let's say Arsenal put in a bigger offer than United, and Ajax accept Arsenal's offers and not ours. Make no mistake, if that is the case, he'll go to Arsenal. He wants to leave, and he wants to go to the Premier League. So whilst obviously we have the upper hand, and all the reports are saying we do have the upper hand, and our negotiations have been somewhat more advanced, and obviously we've got the Ten Hag pulling factor. And I guess if it became a choice between Arsenal and United, he would choose United. But make no mistake that United could find themselves in somewhat of a bidding war here.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like Arsenal's position right now, they maybe have 2 centre backs, starting centre backs or whatever. I mean, he's looking at it maybe where he's got the trust from Ten Hag that he gets the position. But no, you're right for sure. A bidding war can definitely transpire from where we are at right now. So it's. I just don't want to believe that that's the situation that we're in right now. I'm looking at it in a positive way. And
you've got to believe sometimes, Marcel.
Yeah, 100%.
Forget belief. Sometimes it's got to be reality, though.
Yeah, true. But right now, I'm taking him as if he's here in spirit right now. But he's he's one of the many right now because we haven't got any official signings in, but except for Malacia. But no, I think it's something that would be all right for us. What do you think though? Do you think it's a situation where, because I'm seeing it's 125 million euros for him and Anthony is what they're looking for. So do you think it's something where we don't get him and we have to go into the market for, a Pau Torres, or do you think we'll definitely get him over the line and maybe don't get Anthony, or it's one or the other?
I don't think we get Pau Torres. I think that one's gone quite quiet. And I think, to give him his credit, we had Alvaro Montero on the channel, Spanish football journalist, football expert, really early on. And he just said, I don't think Pau Torres is going anywhere. And he basically said to Flex, I don't think he's going anywhere because he's from Villarreal. That's his home club. And he's happy there and he doesn't have to leave. And everyone was like, fair. Even if they got the release clause, he probably wouldn't go. So I think he'll probably stay there. I do think that if we go for one, like for instance, Martinez, which is clearly the one we're going for at the moment, I think Anthony then becomes off the table. I think Anthony's largely off the table anyway, to be honest, just because of that price point. We are going to talk about him in a second, but it's just too high. It's clearly just too high. And, maybe that would have been different had we acted somewhat faster when it comes to Anthony, because obviously, and it happens every summer, Ajax sell players. They are somewhat of a selling club. They're constantly going through a regenerative cycle. This year, it's a bigger one than usual. If we had gone maybe early in the summer, then they'd have probably sold him for a smaller price. But at this point, they don't need to sell anymore. They've already sold a load of players and made the money they need to make. And now they're in a position where obviously everyone's got a price. Anthony does have a price. Martinez does have a price, but it's on the higher side. The We Talk Ajax guys said it best. They'll sell players if they get the jackpot, if they hit the lottery, if they go, so when they're saying, 70 million euros for Anthony, or 70 million quid rather for Anthony, why wouldn't they sell him for that price? But he's not worth it. He's not worth that price. That's an inflated figure. So I don't think we'll get Anthony. But like you, I'm quite confident on the Martinez one. My only slight concern is when I do see those reports that say, Ajax have turned it down and they want more. For me, that is a situation of them going, we want more, basically encouraging Arsenal going, oh, you could come in and do a bit more. Once Arsenal say either we would be willing to match United's offer or we're not going to go that far, that's when they're ultimately probably going to accept United's offer, I think.
Yeah.
But it also depends what United's total package is as well. We know that United love an add-on, so we don't know what the add-ons could be. If the add-ons are like 10 million or 15 million, then maybe they'll feel more comfortable. And it depends on how attainable those add-ons are as well. Reportedly, initially, those add-ons for the Frenkie de Jong deal involved United winning a trophy with Frenkie de Jong. And Barca, I guess rightfully so, went, we need the money now. But win a trophy, when's that going to happen? Because you don't know how long that's going to take. It's like playing Football Manager. When you do the whole, you just throw on a load of clauses. I do it when I'm doing my negotiating on there. Salon clause, trophy clause. I think I'm never getting that far into the game. It doesn't matter. I just want the players now. And then eventually, when you do get that far into the game, you go, "Oh shit!" Like crap. I've won trophies or yearly wage rise. That's a killer in FM. Never do that. Even if
25%, just sometimes just staying there lazily. Like you got to drop it. Maybe 5%.
Never do it. Never do it. Even if you think I'm not going to go that far into the game, never put the yearly wage rise on there because it will come back to bite you massively. People, that is KG level of recklessness putting on the yearly wage rise. Like 50%, you couldn't get to the end of the season. Suddenly, oh my God, that is crazy. But yeah, to go back to that, I do think we'll get Martinez, but Anthony, not so much. But continuing to talk, I guess, about Ajax players, Ajax targets, even though technically not an Ajax player, Brian Brobby. Now, it's been reported by the Mail, and to be fair, by a lot of other outlets. This one really picked up steam yesterday, picked up momentum, that Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Brian Brobby. Leipzig wants £17 million for the player. Now, it was also then reported by Paul Hurst from The Times and others that Manchester United could hijack a deal between Ajax and Brian Brobby. This is after Erik ten Hag contacted the player recently. He is keen on bringing Brobby to United to strengthen his attacking department. Ajax had reached an agreement in principle with Brobby and were about to engage in further negotiations with Leipzig, but then Erik ten Hag came into the picture, calling the player in an attempt to convince him to move to Manchester United. Ajax have not been willing to meet Leipzig's initial asking price of 17 million for Brobby, though it's understood that they are likely willing to let him go for roughly 13 million. It was also then reported by Mike Verwij, once again, Dutch-based journalist, that Erik ten Hag needs to look out with approaching too many players of Ajax. Damage will get done to the legacy he left behind at the club if it goes on like this. Now, what is quite curious with this is, first of all, you could say, I get it, but also I don't get that because how many Ajax players have we signed right now?
Exactly.
Zero.
Exactly.
We haven't. Granted, you would say Martinez, that will get done over the line. And if he does come in and kind of hijack this deal, that will leave a sour taste in the Ajax fans and I guess the Ajax board's mouth. Brian
they like
Brobby.
Robbie. They like him. They like him. They like Robbie. So I don't know. Owen. It's a difficult one. And nothing's really transpired yet, like you're saying. So we're not there yet. To see if it's going to cause a ruckus or anything of that sort. And it would only be 3 players, really. Martinez, Anthony, and that would be it. There wouldn't be anyone else that would get. Brobby's technically not part of their club at the moment. Yes, they want him back, but they're haggling for a price with Leipzig. So they might get priced out anyway. So and Brobby's, Brobby's had interviews where he's saying, he'll be happy for ten Hag to go, but only if he comes to United in a couple of years. So he's been manifesting this one for a little while anyway. So it bodes well again. And he knows Ten Hag's system, and he's very good back to goal. Very good back to goal. So there's benefits to our team right now. Again, I would only see this being a good piece of business if Ronaldo goes the other way. Not the other way, but if just Ronaldo goes. I just don't see him
Ronaldo with Brobby though. Is that the quality that we're really looking at this summer?
The striker market that we're looking at this summer is not brilliant. A lot of the players are going to be either potential players like Brobby, or players that come into the latter stages of their career where they're bagsman like Lewandowski, they're goal scorers, but there's no future in that kind of goal scorer. So you're gonna take the risk, and no one's gonna be able to replace 20 goals. The man's guaranteed 20 goals in a season, Ronaldo. So it's a difficult task to fill. But at least it's a footballer that understands the system. At least it's a footballer that wants to come, a hungry footballer. You want to at least replace, because Ronaldo is motivated for sure, but you want to replace him with a young, hungry footballer that wants to play for the shirt. So it ticks boxes. It does tick boxes, and I think it might cause a little tension between Ten Hag and Ajax. And yes, he was welcomed. Van der Sar was saying at the end of the last game of the season that we were at, United, we was at with us three there. Van der Sar extended his welcome for Ten Hag to come back anytime. But when you are pinching
the players,
when you are pinching all their players, it's a different story. So I agree, it could potentially be tension, but it's only three, man.
Nick Albany with the super chat says, I'm positive Frankie de Jong will come. The guy is absolutely world class and what we need. He plays out of his favorite position, Busquets, which also could help. Yeah, I remember I was looking at some stats of Frankie recently, and his stats last season were quite interesting. But also then you had to think, like, as the super chat mentions there from Nick, he wasn't playing in his favorite position. He's not playing in his favorite role, which is quite curious. But to go back to the Brobby one, I mean, look, where does the line of, we've said it a million times here over the course of the transfer window so far, if it's what Ten Hag wants, back the manager, right? And this would be, I think, really testing that point of, if it's what Ten Hag wants, back the manager. But do we have to, should we be casting our net somewhat further, than people Ten Hag knows? Or is it just a case of him going, look, we need a quick fix. I didn't want to lose Ronaldo, but I think I am. I know the player in Brobby. I also know how much it's going to cost to get him. It's not going to cost a lot. I would feel more comfortable knowing that I actually have a number 9. Because I'm no hypocrite here. Of course, earlier on in the show, I'm advocating to get a number 9 in, and I am. But, Brian Brobby,
Yeah, there's a huge level drop. But that's going to happen. We're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, and won so much in the game, is so much on and off the pitch. There's a huge drop in quality. It's going to happen. I don't think, and I think we have to rest our mind on that. That is, this striker market is not brilliant. It was, the best. It was the best piece of business from the noisy neighbors, getting in one of the most elite strikers in world football right now. That was it. That's really around. Lewandowski, yes, but I think Barcelona want him somehow. They're gonna try and muster up the money for him. So I don't know. It was going to be a risk whoever we went in the market for, and if he's the one that we're looking at, then like I was mentioning before, I was referring to Chelsea, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea when he first came. He took a lot of Portuguese talent from that league, and from successful era that he had over there. So
Porto players, Carvalho, Ferreira,
That's what I was that's what I was referencing, because I saw in the comments someone saying, who did we bring when? But I was referencing Chelsea, not the Man United era, Mourinho. But so it's happened before, is what I'm trying to say. So he's importing a lot of his talent and that he knows from his leagues, and I think it would bode well for us. But you're right, it's a huge drop in quality. He could really not be suited for this league, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, and also as well, look, you've got Leipzig that want him clearly. And you would say, well, he's not wanted by Leipzig. Why should Man United be looking for him? That would be, I guess, a concern. But this maybe wouldn't even be a conversation if the Ronaldo situation wasn't what it was. And I think 100%. That would also be worth considering as well. New member, Femi, welcome to the United View Members Club. Of course, if you want to join the United View Members Club, you can also follow the link in the description, or also the pinned comment in the chat as well. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you also get your exclusive membership-only content. We were talking about one the other day, Marcel, because, well, it happened earlier on in the video, cultural differences. I didn't know, who was it, Lauren? Who was the person?
Lauren Hill. I'm going to say, you're good now.
I reckon I might recognize. I didn't recognize the face, but I might recognize the music. I might
100%.
That might be a thing. But we were talking the other day that we might do one in the future where KG is going to give me some sort of Nigerian cuisine, and Flex is going to give me some sort of Jamaican cuisine, and I'm going to try it for the first time.
That's good.
Let's see what happens.
That's only for the UV members, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exclusive for the UV members.
Yeah. That would be good.
And also as well, like, guys, I am up there with the fussiest eaters as well. So I don't know how that's going to go. They were talking the other day. KG was about jollof rice. I thought he was talking about a person. I didn't even know it was. And jollof, I went, who's that? So that could go.
That would be good. I want to see that.
Yeah, so that's coming in the future. Briefly, before we wrap things up, Marcel, of course, the first preseason game is on Tuesday, I believe, Liverpool. Did you see our squad list yesterday? That's on tour. How are you feeling about that game?
I'm hurt because I'm so hurt about this club, man. Because Brighton squad list at the end of the season, Crystal Palace's squad that we put out against Crystal Palace, it was just. So I don't know, but I feel like everyone's going to be holding their cards close to them. You know, we've been seeing a lot of good videos, clever passing. We've got a manager now that's on the pitch, literally telling you stand here, move here, pass here with tempo, complaining about things. Very, meticulous. So I want to see what the players have picked up, early signs of who's really listening, who's picking up things. But
I do know who Lauren Hill is. Someone said, Ready or Not. I've heard that. She was in that group.
Yeah, and she's part of the Fuji. Yeah.
I don't know if I properly knew who I know them, and I've heard that song.
Yeah. But anyway, you're good now. I'm gonna send you some music. What you've heard them, 100%. It's just the name maybe just throwing you off. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so like I don't know. Everyone's going to be holding their cards close, and I want to see some of the young players, and I think that's what Liverpool do. They'll have maybe one or two good pros. Milner's always in good condition; he'll play, and a couple others, and that'll be it. But we'll most probably do the same. Ahmad looks sharp, Hannibal I really want to see play. Garner's been playing well. Tom Heaton, players. There's competition right now, so yeah.
Two scenarios then. First, we'll start with the negative, and then we can end on the positive. The negative is that we play Liverpool. What if we get absolutely just destroyed?
What
do you reckon the reaction is to that?
All last season, it's going to be big. We're so global. Our club is so global. There's people watch us from all over the parts of the world, like we've been saying, So we're so global. The club. I don't know. There would be shockwaves, but it's early stages. It's early prep. We don't need to be worried about this. And there's going to be results like this throughout the season because footballers are trying things and they're trying to play how their manager wants them to play. So we're going to expect, Liverpool are well drilled. They know exactly what they need and what the expectations are. So I don't think we will get destroyed though, because he will look to play attacking football. So we're going to see good little moments as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Again, the positive is what if, even if we do say lose, what if we play just different to how we're used to? And we're seeing this possession style playing. We're seeing some of these younger players playing. You got to tell you what, they played well. What's the reaction then?
Yes, beautiful news. Beautiful to see. It'll be beautiful news. And I think hopefully the community will be happy, and looking forward to seeing more of that and encourage more of that. I think because that's the direction we're going in. So it will definitely bode well, and it'll give confidence to the younger players anyway. The senior players and the pros will know that this is just early stages, trying to get it right, understanding each other's game, the system, the requirements. So looking forward to it. There's other more important games. I really want to see the Crystal Palace game and the ones coming up towards the end of the preseason, where you've got Brighton in a couple of weeks. So I think those ones are more important for me.
Interesting stuff. Well, anyway, guys, look, we're going to wrap it up there. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You can also follow Marcel on Twitter. Marcel, what is your at?
Marcel 11 or 10.
There you go.
At Marcel 11 or 10. Yeah.
He's always active. He's always in spaces.
Yeah. Twitter fingers right now, because I just got it on January to you. So I'm just typing away nonsense. Yeah, it's really good, man. I'm in the spaces. I'm active. I'm interactive. I'm just about Man United as well. So
exactly,
really good.
Great stuff. So give them a follow there. Of course, tomorrow full view settings as always. You can see it above Marcel there. Sundays at 7 p.m. So we're going to be live at 7 with the whole crew to discuss all things Manchester United transfers, etc. And who knows, we might be back before then. Maybe we'll sign someone. You never know. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Have a great Saturday, and we'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.